inside of me there are two phoenixes. Like, you know the meme, inside of me there are two wolves. You don't just do something, you just take it as far as you can. But it's also a lot about like accumulation of power. Like, no. 3, 2, 1.
Mukul, tell us about yourself.
I just graduated high school and I got into U Chicago. I think those are like my greatest personality traits at the moment. Cause like, yeah, in general people just ask you to introduce yourself by like, are you in school? Are you in college? Do you have a job? What is your job? That's like the first thing they're probably gonna ask you. Your name comes second.
What are you studying in U Chicago?
I'll probably take economics and then obviously I'll take maybe a major in, I don't know, physics, chemistry, some kind of domain, because I think as a whole economics always requires some sort of, yeah,
Scaffolding.
yeah.
Why U Chicago? Why?
Those are very big questions and it'll take a while to answer. I'll take why economics first, that's a bit broader. For me, I don't know, my main interest is behavioral economics. And I think it's because it answers a lot more about, you know, the general like
Socioeconomic status of the world, right?
Yeah. Can you just
That doesn't say anything about economics.
Bro, tell us.
I think it's just because it investigates human decision making, and studying decision making and helping people make better choices is obviously like a really important field. I mean, a lot of people know what the right thing is to do. Like, you know, you should eat healthy, but you eat unhealthy, or you know, like when should you take a gamble or when should you take a risk. And then a lot of people don't actually know what the optimal choice is, or even if they do, they don't take the optimal choice. So like, in what way, how would you convince someone to make those optimal choices, and how are their general choices determined?
Sounds like some take over the world, escape the matrix type shit.
I mean, take over the world, maybe. I think there's definitely I think there's room. Like, behavioral economics, it's like, if you can understand how a person makes a decision, you can basically sell them anything on the planet, and your journey to taking over the world is pretty close from there. Okay, and then I'll move on to like, and then again, also, economics right now, I think, is mainly shifting towards quantitative economics. So, that's like the current trend for economics. So most people will be taking quantitative economics. Even I'll take a lot of quantitative economics, data science economics, maybe like AI with it, because that's the current trend. But I think behavioral economics is like the future, like what Kahneman, what Richard Thaler, and like even to some extent Eleanor Ostrom, and what they're pushing forward in like the economic frontiers. And then in terms of like why U Chicago, I don't see how you study economics can really differ that greatly between schools. Like, the main thing appeal for economics for like U Chicago was like Richard Thaler, he's a Nobel laureate for behavioral economics. The top economics and like finance individuals, like even from India, they're all at U Chicago, so it gives you a lot of exposure from like professionals in the field on a direct basis. You have the chance to like maybe send them like a message and like connect with them on office hours, work with them on research, and that, I think, is just a great experience, and that could differ how economics is taught, really. Beyond that, U Chicago is just also, I think, stands out because of how much they try to like innovate and try to be unique. I mean, sometimes, of course, it doesn't land. Like, they have some just like crazy ideas that just, I guess, doesn't really resonate with the student group. But like, one thing that I got into Chicago and I noticed, just like I was just scrolling through random pages, was that they got something called Phoenix AI beta. It's like it's in the beta testing right now. But it basically just gives you ChatGPT like Turbo, the premium version, with additional Microsoft integration for free to all their students. And it's just a random thing. Like, and then even that, they're like innovating, building more features in it than ChatGPT. I don't know if ChatGPT has this, but there's an incognito feature on Phoenix AI. So like, you can like completely eliminate all data with an AI, which I don't think I've seen before. So it's like these innovations, and also they have this for the orientation. They made a video game. Yeah, it's really more like a puzzle thing, and it's a lot of engaging puzzles. Like, one of the puzzles is solving 15 different ciphers, and they're all like really interesting ways of like
some MUNCCC shit, bro.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way of bringing a student into like your college and explaining to them concepts. They're not just gonna say, yes, there's Hume, there's psychology, there's philosophy, there's XYZ, do this, be happy. It's giving you a chance to like truly engage with what U Chicago is. And yeah, I think that's an innovation that other colleges don't always take. Beyond that, I think it's just also maybe um, the student body as well. U Chicago students, like, it's very grounded in the core there, and while there are other colleges like maybe like Columbia that also have a really strong core, U Chicago's core feels like it's more based in like engagement, conversation, interaction. The core is usually as a bridge for people to talk with other people in U Chicago. Like normally you'll see an econ major and computer science major, and you'll probably talk about the intersection of the majors. But core is something that everyone does, so that means everyone gets an opportunity to find something to talk about with other people, and that's a really good starting point for you if you want to like go into further discussion and interconnection of ideas between people from vastly different majors, which I think is really essential because that's how knowledge is growing in like the current day. There's a lot of a lot of knowledge these days is created by interconnecting different ideas and fields. I'll just give like some completely random example, but in like the PCR test and like DNA replication, the Taq polymerase was found by some dudes investigating hot springs on some island, and that specific like polymerase is now being used in like parental testing or crime scene investigations and forensic tests. It's now become a crucial part of that because of its ability to withstand high temperatures. Those guys were studying something completely random, and this just had a massive effect on a completely different sector.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So I think
Nice.
that those what is it? 8 minutes is what I'm saying. 8 minutes had more information than all last 3 podcasts combined. Bro.
You're also going to a location where
Chicago's a great
economics,
city.
Yeah.
finance,
It's very
fintech, and all
collaborative.
that.
It's very culturally rich. There's like a lot of different people from different
Very
backgrounds.
working class as well. It's not
Yeah,
high
exactly.
society.
It's a city that tries to have a lot of personality and does have a lot of personality because of it. And yeah, I think it's just a really nice city.
Yeah,
Okay. Are you off topic? Like, are you ready to bear the cold in Chicago?
I mean, I've been there before, and I think I'll survive. I'm not
Why
sure.
does everyone think you're just gonna step down off the airport and get shot?
But okay, back to topic. Mukul in high school, right? Before we go into anything, what was 9th like, 10 like, 11 like? Well, like, if you had a summary for each grade, what would that be?
So like that question itself is essentially pretty difficult to like answer. So like substitute it from like an easier question like how was 9th academically and how was 9th EC wise, and do the same thing for the other grades. So in 9th grade, academically, I was just kind of like taking it chill. I think like maybe at like for the final 9th final, because I was like, this goes to college, I should probably work hard. So I like studied pretty well for that one to make sure my GPA or like just my average like scores were good. And EC wise, I think that's when I really tried to like experiment, get out and do something like different. At the time I was already doing like badminton, and I'd already finished like public speaking. So now I was like thinking, okay, I have this public speaking Trinity grade 8, what can I do with it? And I saw MUN, so that's when I guess first dipped my toes into like the world of MUNing, and I think that was one thing I did. Beyond that, I also think I tried to start considering like how I can help out my community. I can volunteer at the library. How can I make some impact now? I'm in high school, I can actually have an impact on the world, so I should start looking at how to do that. 10th grade, it was just, I was like, for the board exam, I need to do well. So it was just incremental improvement. I'd go to an exam, I'd do pretty well, and then I'd just see how can I improve from here. And it was just incremental improvement, and then finally, when I got my 10th finals, I like board exam, I did pretty well.
How much did you end up getting?
8 A stars, 1 A for IGCSE. Then for EC wise, 10th I was like mainly studying. It was more like a continuation. It was just like learning more, getting better at what I was already doing, getting better at badminton, getting better at MUN. It was just a lot about that like improvement of what I already had going. In my 10th summer, like that's when I started like job shadowing and like looking out into like what career options really are. So I think that's like but like 10th itself was really busy, so I really only had the chance, and I think I recommend other people also to begin your time searching for like what your career path is, or maybe learning more about career paths that you already have in mind during your 10th summer. So that also makes it easier for your subject choices, because that's also a big thing in your 11th and 12th. You need your subject choices to align, and then that also influences like how they'll view the major you're choosing in college. I mean, that's mainly true in like technical colleges. Liberal arts colleges will be pretty okay with a lot of subject selections, but it's always helpful to nail some of those things down. And then 11th grade, yeah, academically I did fine like throughout. I don't think there was any like major differences. I think like after I'd like finished my 10th board exams, I felt confident. I knew how to study, I knew how to do well and like approach exam and test taking in general. So I did that. I did my SAT.
How much did you get?
15-20. EC wise, 11th grade, I once again took another step to like experiment outward. So IB itself mandates like a CAS project, and then on top of that, I wanted to find new community involvement. So I started volunteering at an orphanage, and then brought a lot of my friends to help me with that. I was tutoring there, and then on top of that, I did donation drives for them to, provide them like a additionally something on top of my tutoring. And then otherwise in 11th grade, it was once again just, doing, I did a research paper, I think, in my 11th summer, so that was good. And I was just like finishing out like a lot of like the other research I have. I can't really remember a lot of them like right now for some reason, but yeah, that's mainly what I was doing in my 11th. 12th, I was just studying. I didn't really do, I mean, I studied, and yeah, I don't think I actually did a lot of other stuff back then.
Okay.
That's very interesting. I think the easy description, right? Like the way you described it.
Yeah.
Extracurricular specifically seemed very like you're pretty laid back. You're just doing what you like, sort of. What was your approach when you were? We've asked this to a lot of people, but how did you sort of think about choosing what ECs you needed to do, especially because you had some more clarity than most do in terms of major?
Did you look at it in terms of okay, this spike, that spike and stuff, or did you just say okay,
See, to me, ECs is like you can do whatever, but take it to the highest level. Like, oh yeah, that's also that reminds me. 11th, I went for like nationals in badminton. So once again, it's you don't just do something, you just take it as far as you can. I feel like if you do like art, go to like the most like prestigious competitions there is. If you like doing research or science, go to ISEF. If you like drama, just do like the most popular stage play in like Bangalore. What you do, I feel like, yeah, it's important in the terms of rounding out your profile. So in my mind, I thought, what would be to look holistic, what do I have to do? Leadership, I'll do Stuco. I'll head the badminton team. I'll do Ignite head. But then my Ignite, I was doing a finance head. So that also gave me some link to my major. And then I also thought research is great. Let me do a research paper in economics, stock trading. Sure, let's do that. I did that. What else could round my profile? Community service. I need some community impact. So then I did a community cleanliness awareness campaign for like little kids through an art competition. I volunteered at the orphanage. So now I'm like more rounding it out. Then I thought sports, I need to take like maybe a sport. So I was doing badminton. So that was also another way of rounding it out. The only thing that maybe I thought my profile was lacking was like a music, some kind of art. But like I'm just really, really bad at any art. So I just ran away from all of them. But yeah, so it's just thinking about round out your profile, then whatever I'm doing, just take it to the highest level profile. Like how many people can I help? What is the impact I can have? And then just maximize that as far as you can go.
But the IB itself obviously has a lot of content. Right? It's not, when you say studying, it's not only the exams that you have.
Yeah.
And obviously you had a bunch of these extracurricular commitments as well. So what was Mukul's system? Like how did you make sure that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to have time for this, all of that, or maybe I'm going to give this up for a little bit. How did that kind of thought process how did it kind of actualize in your system?
I mean, for me, it was just like logical judgments, right? Like during the like 5 days of the school week, I'm going to be busy. I can't do any community service then. Let's do it on Saturday and Sunday. I'm pretty free then. If I'm if I'm near an exam time, I should probably cut back on my badminton because I'll get really tired. I don't want people to like pay attention or do anything. So I just stop my badminton for like the time of the exams and then start again after. Or months, I just take it like, oh, it's like a holiday. It's like Diwali, it's Dasara, it's in a good time. I'll just go do a month then. I have time. For me, it was like, I mean,
It's
I
kind of
guess-
like cost benefit.
yeah,
analysis.
you can just say like scheduling, but I never really did any like real scheduling. It's just like it makes sense. If it logically makes sense, I'm like, I'll go with it. Like, why not? No, I mean, like, there are other people, of course, that I know that they have really planned out schedules. Like, I want this done here. I need this done now. And I'm going to schedule everything, like, perfect, down to the minute, or whatever way of scheduling you do. But I didn't think that was really necessary as much. Because, like, I feel like, in general, there's always stuff, like, popping up, too. Like, randomly some event happens, randomly something happens. Yeah, you just gotta like take the chance. Like if you like think too much into scheduling, you're probably gonna get cooked. One thing I will say that scheduling is important for is your essays. If you don't schedule your essays, you're cooked. Like you need to actually have proper deadlines. Like
Let's go into that. Right? Finish what you're saying about deadlines for essay, and then let's also look at who is Mukul, right? As an economics student and as whatever all your different stuff. What did you portray yourself as to college?
okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna say like for your ED1, I need this essay done, and then like between your ED1 and like your ED2 or your RD time, you say on this day these essays will be done. On this day these three like colleges will be done, and the next day, by another date, these three essays will be done. And then by the time your RD deadline comes, you're ready, and then you just send it out.
Before that, can we? So when you're dealing with these deadlines, right? When you say like on a specific day, I'm gonna finish so and so colleges, all of the essays, right? That doesn't really account for like draft 2, draft 3, right?
Or did you just one shot?
No.
How do you
So-
gain that sort of clarity?
I've even done like draft 14, draft like 15. Yeah, I've taken like, I've frequently gone to like draft 8, draft 9 before I really got in my group, and then I start finishing it at like draft 5, draft 6. But even then, I still always took a lot of drafts. In general, it's more like, okay, I have Columbia and they have 4 essays. I'll just give a date like, today is like the 20th. I think it'll take me 4 days, and or 5 days, and I'll just say 25th Columbia should be done. And then and then sometimes I just group multiple colleges and say by this day, these 3 colleges should be done. Draft wise, I counted for taking like a tons of drafts. I don't know. I didn't really think like this essay will take a lot more drafts than other essays.
No, but when did you start it?
When is the ED1 deadline?
November or something. November 1st.
November 1st.
Okay, so I think like personal statement I started sometime in like maybe September, or actually maybe earlier in like August, and then like ED1 essays maybe like after that, and then after that I don't actually really remember when I really started my essays. I know my personal statement took a lot of drafts. That was one that like took like at least 15 drafts. It was because I think one thing that's good in essays is just being meticulous. Because you'll often see that like when you go again and again, some words are just redundant. Each word needs to have value, impact, and needs to tell something. If the word doesn't do that, just toss it out, change it. That's the approach I took to my essays.
I think let's look at U Chicago as a
Yeah.
specific application, right? Because I know their essays are pretty. You have even like 10-word essays.
No, you get one prompt.
10-word essay.
You get 2 pages to write in that one.
Yeah.
prompt. And it's the craziest thing ever.
I've seen the prompts are always crazy. This year, I think it's even more difficult than
Dude,
last
sometimes
year.
they ask their students to just think of the most random stuff.
I'll give you like a random prompt. Find X. That's a prompt. Write your essay. You have 2 pages. Have fun. Go at it. Or another one. Apples or oranges.
What did you end up writing?
Yeah, so what I ended up writing was like it's about like a group of like multiple things. What do you think should belong in that group and doesn't, or what do you think is in a group and that doesn't really belong in that group? So I thought really abstractly and kind of like strangely, but I think that's a very common trend you'll see. People have very strange ideas, but also the thing about the U Chicago essay thing is a lot of people tend to lose focus. You often lose like the main idea of what your essay is when you're taking a very interesting idea. So what I did was Dionysus makes a petition to the gods of Olympus, with his lawyer being the god of harmony, and the representative of of the Olympians is the goddess of disharmony. And then it was a court case where the jury was the fates and all the oracles of Greek mythology.
What?
So it was just Dionysus making a case for why he should be in the pantheon of the 12 Olympians. And I thought it was a really good idea because I could take a lot of advantage of the spacing. So I could write it like a court transcript, like objection, prejudice, objection, or objection overruled. So I made myself the judge and then wrote it as a story of Dionysus. So I'd code stuff like the Dionysaka, which is a record of all of Dionysus' achievements. I'd take it it's been entered into Exhibit A as evidence, and I wrote out a proper court case for it, and then that was just my entire premise. And I centered the entire idea of Dionysus entering through the court case in Greek mythology, and I made my point. And I said Dionysus has to be in the 12 Olympians. Hestia should get out.
That was your essay.
Yeah.
What was
did
the
you
prompt?
bring up?
The prompt is you know how the prompt is talking about something in a group that doesn't quite fit, or something that should be included in a group, like Andy Murray to Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal. So that's one of the I think that's the example that they gave. So I said Dionysus into the 12 Olympians.
What do you think
try
that
to,
said
wait,
about
wait,
it?
I want to go into that essay. What did you try to bring out through the
Yeah,
essay?
that's what I was going to say. What does it say about you? Yeah.
So one, it's a reflection of Mun, but also it's also about intellectual debate, pushing forth and giving some. So I didn't say it's a one-way trip where Dionysus, the goddess of harmony, just steamrolled that, she just won every argument. You win some, you lose some. Some of your counter arguments work, some of your counter arguments don't work. That's a huge idea of what Yushikaga was about. You're not always right. In fact, I think one of the greatest ideas that I've heard recently is everybody is right and everybody is wrong. Nobody has the absolute truth, really. And if you really take a stance like that, that makes you really open and receptive, but also makes you still able to push against other people and create new views, create new ideas. It's that kind of mix that I was trying to go for. Beyond that, the main thing that I knew about Yushikaga prompts was that from my brother, he also got into Yushikaga. So, what? No, he got in 6 years. He graduated from Yushikaga. So it's about being really passionate about a single idea. It's about talking at length. I love this so much, and I love Greek mythology. I'm a huge Percy Jackson fan, but even beyond Percy Jackson, I really enjoyed reading about Greek myths, Greek mythology, and I just wanted to show them I love this a lot. Here, look at what I've love. And that's something I think Yushikaga really values. That you're really passionate about an idea. The entire point of the prompts, if you is just to take something you're really passionate about and then talk about it at length. I think that's just something that they really expect from your prompts. Even if you're doing a Fermi estimation problem, go as deep as you can into your estimation. Take as many random objectives, uncertainties, ideas, because you're really passionate about this idea. You really care. And then that's what you're showing. And this also just shows my research skills. I know at length so much about Greek mythology, from the different types of oracles, the time of the internal conflicts that they might have on the panel, to how some goddesses and gods might react to certain comments made by either side. It shows a lot of being able to understand research and also giving my own unique perspective to it. But I think the main thing is that it answers the prompt really well. It's just asking you, why should this person be in the group? Why should this person not be in the group? And I just was really focused to the point on this person should be in the group and why. It was very, very straightforward and to the point.
Very cool. But overall, what do you think? Again, coming back, right? What do you think Mukul's story was? So why should Mukul, even outside of Yushikaga, why should you have studied economics? And what was your story that you were trying to put forward to all you?
Okay, so in terms of presentation, the way I went about it is, in general, that actually I tied it into my research. I think one thing that I've noticed is that you can't tell them everything about yourself every time. In fact, I'd say for most of my essays, they were all unique ideas. I only talked about a story once for all the most for the first maybe 10 colleges I applied to. I never used a single story, and that was I could have there are a lot of opportunities that I probably maybe even should have, but I didn't, and that's also because it stemmed from my research of the college. So one thing that I start off with my research of a college by is, what are your prime principles? What are your values? And what do you look for in an applicant? And it's not like what do you look for in an applicant, it's like what are you proud of? Like a lot of colleges like, I'm very proud my student body is very disruptive, they're very they're discussion oriented. I love my students because they're really research oriented. I love my students because they're really outgoing, community service. So I think, okay, if you really are proud of that, I should at the very least cover some kind of interest in that. So those are like my bases to cover. Like before I go into like being myself, I need to make sure that I've talked about these things that they really love about me and that they probably want to see in me too. So I covered those, and then I can go into what makes me unique and probably stand out from the other students. Because like a lot of people will do what I'm doing. They'll see the college, see what that's what they want, and just give them that, and then say no more. So I give them that, then I go into like what makes me unique, what makes me Mukul, on top of what you like about your student body. Because I feel like that's the thing about a holistic profile. When you build your profile holistically, you meet everything that they probably want.
You have something
all the
for
colleges.
everyone.
You have something for like each of their specific needs and likes. Like Wisconsin Madison has a Wisconsin Miracle. It's a turnaround story, like a random college in the middle of Wisconsin, and there's like
One of the best tech
one of the
unis in the
best
world.
tech unis in the world. So that's what they're really proud of. So like I'll make like a story about like a massive turnaround in my life, that crazy story that a kid from a dark horse, a kid from nowhere, a comeback story. So that's what I try to portray there, because that's what they really love about themselves and what their students.
That's very sensitive. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever heard anybody do that. That's crazy.
I mean, I have heard the point that you do give a college what they want, like what type of student they're looking for.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard
This is almost like I can imagine like an Excel sheet where he's just put like, okay, research, this, that, like.
Yeah, so then after I finish that research, it moves on to like my next level of research, which is like clubs, activities, specific courses, professors that I might want to do research with. So then I move into that realm. Like, so there's always the why college essay, right? So then there you talk about it like that. Of course, people have a lot of weird mediums of framing. Before I actually go into that, I think I want to talk about how I structure how essays went in general. So my personal statement was a very simple, like very stoic essay. I'll put it like that way. It's a very straightforward, deep essay that really reflective, really deep thinking. So I try to make my other essays differ from in some way. Either I change the stylistic device, maybe it goes into like a story, like how we did with the essay, or maybe I'll make it really funny. Like my Why You Chicago essay started with inside of me there are two phoenixes. Like, you know the meme, inside of me there are two wolves. It's that, I just took it straight from there. So of course it's not actually didn't start as a meme, it's a Cherokee legend about like a wolf. So that also shows like my knowledge and sensitivity to American cultures. So yeah, that was the starting line of my Why You Chicago essay. Inside of me there are two phoenixes, and I talked about one phoenix and the second phoenix, and under them I'd give like the first phoenix is everything I already loved about New Chicago that I've already seen and experienced, and the second part is everything about New Chicago that I wish to learn about, to understand more. And then I concluded by saying that my phoenixes complement each other. It's in contrast to the Cherokee legend, where how I'm more at peace with myself. I'm connected, and I try to complement my abilities and my ideas. So that was like the idea I went to. So that was a very quirky essay. I talk about things like I want to put Picasso on my wall. Like it's like I just straight up just said that because like there was like some program that they had that allowed you to borrow an art piece and put it on your bedroom wall. I said that. I said I want to climb. I think I could fit inside of an art piece on campus, and that's also just directly from research. If you go deep enough and like learn about the artist makes some of the art pieces to have people imagine that feeling. So like it does seem crazy things to write about, but it's still a level of research, and it's also just really quirky about myself. It's like a very frenetic essay. It's not very stoic and straightforward. So each way I'm trying to complement my personal statement with different types of essays in like the way it's written, its medium of writing, or in terms of the style I'm using. Maybe it's frenetic, maybe it's funny, maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's really fast paced, like I'm just trying to blitz through the essay or something.
So yeah,
That's
I
part
won't
one.
interrupt you.
That's
I won't
volume
interrupt
one.
you. Yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Dude, he's so confused.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to recall what the question was. Yeah, but how I present myself. So then
Spoke for 15 minutes. Hey, what's the question, bro?
So you also asked about like how I would present myself. So I'd also present myself like how I'll take advantage of your resources in your college. Some stuff I felt was straightforward. Like you have a badminton club, I have years of badminton. I think you see a pretty obvious link there. But some things that they might not really know about that like I'd want to take advantage of. Like I don't know, the secret coffee club, the club that likes finding new coffee shops. Like that's just the entire club that they have, and I was like, yeah, that's interesting to me because of X, Y, Z reason. And now I show that I'm willing to take advantage of the resources that they have. A big thing for college is that they have millions of dollars in funding and research, but if a student doesn't take advantage of any of it, what's the point of having them in the college? That's a lot about why college essay exists in the first place. It's not about like it's why college, why there, but it's also about like what are you actually gonna do with what we have. So that's also another like approach I saw to it. So I'd look at like the clubs, and then maybe even like some like student stories about like what they do there to get like maybe some deeper, like not so well known information. And then in terms of economics, so I tried to position myself heavily as behavioral economics because I think it's the future of economics, and I think a lot of people in colleges would also agree with that view, especially in like maybe Princeton where Kahneman used to teach, or a lot of colleges are trying to make behavioral economics courses. They're trying to go into behavioral finance, and they're trying to they're exploring that field more. And I thought that would also really stand out my application. And I've been drawn heavily into economics because of behavioral economics. So I don't believe in rational ages. I think it's the most irrational concept of economics. People aren't rational, and then building an entire field of study on people being rational is kind of nonsensical. And while I do agree that on a base level, normal economics gives good approximations of what happens in real life, and it makes difficult concepts simple to understand, that's always still going to be your branching point. The economics that we learn in high school is, I'll be very honest, pretty useless and doesn't actually have a lot of bearing on what you're actually going to be doing in the future. Because you'll be mainly going to quantitative economics, doing a lot of statistics, a lot of calculus. So I was thinking already ahead. I've already jumped off what I already have, so where am I going to go next? What am I doing in the college? So I talked a lot about my inspiration of why I like Daniel Kahneman, why I like behavioral economics, and then made that like my thing. Or sometimes I still show that like willingness to understand that I also know that quantitative economics is a thing. I also know that there are other interesting fields, like there's complexity economics, there's institutional economics. These economics ideas aren't really, I've already looked past what a high school student already looks at. I don't think in terms of what I've already seen. I can think of things that I know I will see in college, and that I guess maybe showed off a better sense of like economics and understanding compared to other people.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's a really different way to look at it, because that way of thought automatically sets you apart from probably 75% of
In
peers.
general, you want to take a niche in economics. Economics is a very broad category. You can't just say
Also, just
economics.
in general,
yeah.
compared to other fields, also very general.
Yeah.
How you apply.
Yeah, economics needs another like track to go with it really. Unless you're doing research, you need something like, if you're going to like economics is used to understand other ideas, to do market analysis. But if you don't know what the product is or what you're actually doing or anything about technicals, then you're pretty like, you can just use like a robot to run the algorithm for you. You have no actual critical thinking or value to the company or whatever you're doing in the future. So I think it's just very important that you find a niche. Take environmental economics, take quantitative economics, say this is this niche, this is my niche, and I'm gonna go with it. Yeah. And also make sure that your niche exists in their college so they don't just like reject you like, dude, doesn't exist here, go somewhere else.
Okay, could you do this, because I think you're really meticulous about how you do it. If I gave you an essay today, could you break down what the stages were for everything? Could you start with, okay, this is broadly, like you said, whatever research document, let's say Columbia likes XYZ type of very entrepreneurial students. And then you would say, okay, this is what I've done. What was that blueprint like for you? If you could break down just one essay, how you would do it?
So of course, first is just research. I start with values, principles, main ideals, then I move into subject selection. So like I look at their course catalog for economics, check their courses, but usually I would already check their course catalog briefly before for my college list. So then college list, then specific professors that are interesting at that college that I might want to do research with. Then I move into student organizations and how well does that reflect with me. If they don't have any badminton like club or anything at all, they probably see my badminton thing. This guy probably doesn't want to come here because there's no badminton in the first place. They probably won't accept me anyway. So it's just those like levels of research. So then I'd move to like student organizations. Then I'd look to specific cultural events. So U Chicago has like Cuvia. They have, and then Duke has Tentic at Cavell. Columbia is really famous for the student council. So I look at those specific standout traits, standout events, standout things about them, and from there I draft myself a brief mind of everything I want to talk about this college that I like, that I match with, etc. So I'd first off like make sure that I'm touching about everything that's important to their cores and values, then everything that matches between me and them. If they have great research, like this specific guy that I love and I idolize, then I'll talk about what I've already done, and then what I'm gonna do with him in the future is like a connection of a progression of what I've already done before. And in general, like that, it's just that principle, like again and again. Like I'm just seeing what matches between me and the college, and then pushing those forth first. And then at the very end, if there's something that really stands out to me and I think I can talk about it, then I'd go to like just general things that I think I love about that college.
I think that's a really that's
I see. Then it depends on the essays, right? So I think
Yeah.
if essays like it's not like a what single component, but like all the essays as a whole. Like you should mainly like I think what I did was like a mind map of like what have I covered about the culture already? What do I want to talk about myself, about the college, and then draw those connections. Like if I have an essay about like a past experiences that shaped me, and I talk about an experience about badminton, I'm not going to talk about the badminton club after that because I've already shown that interest here. That's a waste. That's like an extension, and in the same way I'd also do it in styles. Like if I've already done a really serious essay here, next essay has to be really funny or interesting or quirky. So it's making sure that it's all
You see all
very
the different
distinct.
aspects.
Yeah, and
There's
it's
no
all
point in
very
saying the same
distinct.
thing again.
Yeah.
So did you have a roadmap for like a set of non-negotiables for what you wanted every college to see about you?
Like, okay, regardless of what you want, this is my core and this is why. Or you're just like, this is what you want, this is why.
That's gonna your personal statement should have already told them that. This is my core. Beyond that, I'm really flexible. So
Personal statement, you mean your common?
yeah, your ComNap, your ComNap essay should have already covered everything about you. Like you're very basic. Everything on top of that is just an extension. It's going further.
Yeah, it's like a thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then how would you recommend a person who builds the Common App essay? Does that mean just outline all of your core values in the Common App? Not all of them, but the ones that mean the most to you, or the way you think, or what's the best way to go about it for a
So I've seen different types. One like really good essay I've seen is like from someone who got into JHU. So she just talked a lot about what really made up her, like her Bharatanatyam, her reading love, her research at like ISF, and like those were her like main core values. For me, I didn't even talk about anything on my EC list. I didn't talk about anything. I left all of that empty. So the only thing I did talk about in the essay was this. It's about my ability to reflect and just constantly reflect and improve myself. It's how my process of reflection works and how that's benefited me in life. What were the major like, oh yeah, I just did something and now I need to change this. I need to change this about myself. That was my personal statement. That was it. That's my common up essay. So I don't actually know what definitely works. I feel like if you're really confused about your common up essay, maybe it's just safer to talk about like your core values, your core ideas. But if you're feeling a bit risky, then yeah. I also know another friend that talked about a specific moment in his life where he also got into U Chicago, where his family, like a boat turned over and he had to like rescue his family, like how the burden of responsibility went from his parents to him. So there are a lot of people who do just talk about something very focused, very specific. And there are also people that do talk about a lot of different things.
I think that's very interesting. I mean, it's one of the toughest parts about the entire application is the Common App, because in the process you do learn a lot. You are forced to learn a lot about yourself.
That's why it took me so many drafts, really. Like, honestly, I think maybe one thing I'd like recommend that's pretty unconventional is do some of your supplementals essays first, and then do your Common App essay. Because doing my Common App essay, like the first thing, my essay skills were like really bad. Even at the end of the day, I think my essay, like my Common App essay was, it's like good, but I don't think it's like extraordinary. Like some of the like one of the last two essays that I made, like the last essay I was doing was like Northwestern and U Chicago. Those like one of the last essays I was writing as like the ED2 and RD deadline approach. It was like the end of the end, and those were like really good. Like I knew I was so confident, and I had already done so many essays before. You have that experience and that ability to know like I know what's missing here, I know what's missing here, I can reevaluate my own essay really well, I know what a good word choice is, you're already feeling really confident.
You're in the zone, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very cool outlook on it.
I was a 20-minute essay masterclass. I don't think I've ever heard. No, that was actually. I won't even. I usually don't swear on this podcast, but like for that.
Oh yeah. Usually he's very clean on the podcast.
What?
No, that was actually brilliant.
He's so confused, bro.
It's fine, bro. He's a knowledge hub.
Just say something. He's a what?
He's a knowledge hub. It's fine. Okay. Let's keep moving to something else. Let's talk about your motivations and career in general. Where do you see yourself going with
Where do you see the
PE
industry
and
going?
economics? Do you want to, first of all, I don't think you're the kind of guy to work in academia. Do you want to work in economics research? Or what do you want to do with the degree?
I'm thinking of still getting U Chicago offers a bachelor plus master's for 4 years. It's a BA MA. So probably just do that because I still think even if I don't go into the field of like research as a whole, I still want to do some research. There is some research that I feel would be very interesting just for me to add to the world or just to do in general for my own interest. So I'll probably take that route. But in terms of like career goals, I mean, to me it's very fundamental. I think like maybe Harrier said this. It's about the idea of like wanting to build something and provide some product or idea to the world. I feel like that's something essential that like to me the most successful people aren't people who score like a 4.0 GPA because like for me that feels misguided because you're meeting a status quo for something like your job in the future maybe, but people who like build and create something new to me like yeah they really stand out in general, not just as students but like as people in general. Like you're creating something new and you're providing it to the world. That idea stands out to me. My ideas are pretty radical. Currently the plan is to shift to China.
Very valid plan, bro.
I mean, like, not really. Like, it's more like, I just want to do like a study abroad there, and like.
Oh, you were being deadass. Oh, okay.
Because I feel like
Okay.
there's a lot of like, I mean, if you really think about it, the U.S. is really good at innovation, invention, and China's really good at manufacturing. So someone who's able to bridge the gap, be able to do both, can really make their ideas realize. They can really create products and provide it to like the people of the country you're working in. You have the ability, and then also it's just like I feel like when you're in a single country, you lose a lot of the ability to like think differently. I feel like maybe the English language itself is a constraint. So I feel like having two polarizing sides of like ideas and would be a really helpful starting point. So I was thinking maybe I'll do like a study abroad in like China in my third year. I don't really know how it's gonna work out or anything, but I think just being able to grasp like a more holistic worldview would just be really useful in like my future of like pursuing ambitions. I definitely will like do see myself starting a company. I don't really see myself. Maybe I'll like get like a safety net. Maybe I'll work like 2 years. Maybe I'll get an MBA. I don't think I will, but I'll probably like not anytime soon. But I definitely think I'll start some kind of company. Maybe yeah.
Where did those motivations come from? Is it deep rooted or is it just something which you realized like over the past year or something?
Okay, like it's a long conversation that I've had with myself on like why I want to like build a company. One thing is just like yes, it's like helping people, providing a product, giving something new, leaving your mark on the world. But it's also a lot about like the idea of like accumulation of power. Like I mean, I'm sure like you've seen it pretty often. No. Genuinely.
He's valid.
When you run a company,
Yeah.
people like it's obvious. You gain influence, you gain power, you gain money. It's just like it comes with entrepreneurship, right? The idea is like this. It's like you see a guy, like maybe you see protests happen. Have you seen like protests? Maybe like a really bad bill gets pushed, and then people are protesting, like, and then people like, and the bill passes anyway, because the people who actually have power don't actually care about it, and they're like not doing anything. So like in my mind, it's like if a guy who was protesting decided, hey, I'm not doing this. He starts a $1 billion company and then says, I'll lobby all the senators. I'll spend like billions of dollars just on what I want to do. It will happen. There's like no one can really stop him. He has the power, wealth, and influence that when he wants to make a beneficial change to the world, he doesn't ask. He just makes it happen. There's no need for that like pause or like that thinking anymore. And I think that idea resonates with me. I don't really want to like say like I want to help like reduce carbon emissions. I want to be like I have what it takes to say, I want this done, and it will get done. There was no like.
No, I get what you mean. Power
circumvention.
in the more benevolent sense of the word.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest problems in the world are?
And then also in general, I think it's just like I just have a lot of ambition. I think just a life
I
of
can
just
see.
striving really high, going as far as you can, doing the best you can. To me, it just seems like a lot of fun. I think it's really respectable for a lot of people that actually do protest. I actually respect people who protest, to raise awareness, who also, or even people just that live normally lives. They just like they have start a family, have a house. I think that's a very respectable way of living, and it's probably also a lot of happiness and satisfaction for you. But the way that I find a lot of satisfaction is just from being ambitious, from striving high, going as far as you can. Like, yeah, that just seems like a lot of fun to me.
What's your ideal of happiness? Would you be happy?
I don't know. Maybe I'll change in the future, but like, I mean, that's
right now. Or not?
right now. Yeah. I think it's just fun to like strive really high.
After he got into Chicago, he got this God complex.
Yeah.
He's like,
But,
bro,
bro-
I'm gonna get so much power.
No. I think it's the thing is, I actually really believe that the entrepreneurship market and just being powerful and rich is it's a very luck based thing, really. And a lot of what you determine for your company isn't actually from you. A lot of what I'm saying is from Kahneman, but he like the correlation between a company doing well and a CEO is like a max of like a 0.3 correlation, like an R square of like 0.3. So in general, the CEO, like even like bad CEOs can lead to incredible growth for the company, and good CEOs can still end up having the company crash. They're not everything. They're really not. And even like I don't really think like I have some grand ideal of like I'll do well, but I think even if I fail every business venture and I just like end up nowhere, I still think I'd enjoy life a lot if I was just building something, creating something new, and just striving to be the best in whatever field I go into.
If I gave you $10 billion, you had to start your own company, or I gave you $100 billion, you work with Microsoft research, would you take MSR or would you work for yourself?
I think I just work for myself because like that gives me the flexibility to look beyond what like Microsoft is already doing. Like I feel like a lot of people like we're so stuck in what there is currently. Like I think I recently read a book called Abundance by like Ezra Klein and like another person.
Ezra Klein, very well.
Yeah. She's really well known, and
Ezra Klein is a guy.
he's really well known. My bad.
You Chicago, what's going
So,
on?
right. But regardless, he's like really talks a lot about innovating and seeing a future that doesn't exist already. And I think the first step to doing that is like replacing what's already existing. I mean, yeah, Microsoft does look beyond. I think like recently they made a quantum chip that could hold 1,000,000 qubits or something, and that would push quantum computing really far. But I think maybe even going off like quantum computing, maybe finding a whole different form of computing, maybe that could be a future that we just haven't seen yet. There's so much we don't already know that I think maybe we should like make a more step to go innovate more and just step more outside the boundary.
Yeah, I mean that's a very powerful mission statement in general. Like,
Yeah.
If you're talking about computing, they're already developing like photonic computing or whatnot.
Yeah.
And MIT. So yeah, seeing a world that we already don't have, I think that's the first step to building
Yeah.
something that actually makes real world. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think your motivations are quite interesting.
There was something interesting you said before about the program you're into at U Chicago, some integrated bachelor's. and
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the MAPH program. Like it's under MAPH. So a lot of colleges actually offer. I think Northwestern also had a 4-year bachelor's plus master's. So I just thought like a bachelor's plus master's gives me an opportunity to do like high level research, and also I feel like I'm pretty confident that I'd do well enough in my courses to qualify for the master's plus bachelor's. And like it also, I think technically also qualifies you for honors too. So I thought like it's just getting like both things. So like if I'm just gonna write an honors thesis anyway, why not just make it a master's and just call it a day? I get everything at the same time. So that's just like a natural progression for me. And I just want to go really deep, and also like research I think is also just gonna be something, maybe an unique experience I'll get before I go out into like the corporate world.
And the program itself, does that have to be applied for separately and have it?
In your third year you apply based on, and then you get accepted based on like your GPA and like how well you're doing.
Oh, okay. So you're right now only doing a BA and I can do it. Is it a BSc or a BA?
They only offer a BA, but like I'll also take another major. Maybe I'll take cognitive science. Maybe I'll take maybe a physics.
LORs.
Yeah.
What were they like for you? And what was the kind of strategy around it? Did you say, okay, these 2 or 3 teachers are, okay, they know the most about me, so they're going to talk about me, or okay, for economics, I need an economics teacher. What was that kind of strategy?
I think it's just a combination of both. It's like my economics teacher, I should probably have that in, so I had that in. I took my bio teacher because I've had her for 4 years. She knows me really well, so I had that in. And I think that was all the LORs. I don't know. That's pretty much it.
And was it? So it was just based on okay, who knows you, and maybe sometimes
it-
you'd
how
consider
relevant
how relevant it was to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the aspect of it where like did you suck up to your teachers to get good LORs? I'll just ask it straight up.
I mean,
You could scaffold it with some
Yeah,
weird
I was
stuff.
trying
it's just like I just talk about them talked with them like a lot. Like I'd just like ask a lot about I need to get better. My I don't know this essay didn't go well. What do I improve? This paper didn't go well. What do I need to improve? What do I need to study? And I think that itself was like for me a lot of like bridging ideas. Like I just showed that I was really passionate about the subject that they were teaching, and I really cared about what they did and like what they were teaching me. And I think that was just more than enough.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this like gamified strategy for LORs, but
No, I just try to like connect as much and then be interactive in class. So yeah, that was it.
yeah. And when we were talking about ECs, you mentioned a lot more than 10. So I'm curious as to like how did you use additional information to kind of talk about?
No, I think so.
You didn't use the section at all.
I mean, there's some stuff that I didn't really talk about, but like, for me, I took also just like the ones that had the most hours and the most time I'd spend, because that's also something that you mark on your ComNap, right? The number of hours, the number of weeks. So that's mainly what I took. Like some of them, like I have like a certification in first aid training. I didn't really put that. I have data science. I have a certification from the government.
And when it came to like describing these extracurriculars, you only get so much space, 150 characters.
So there, I actually try to like integrate like a personality trait. Like, I did badminton, but I also like try to help other people like improve their badminton. So like maybe that's leadership, maybe that's care, and you keep it. Of course, you still keep it really short to the point. Like greatest achievements you've done to a MUN, be like, okay, I've got like these best delegates, but beyond that, I've also, I don't know, maybe I've helped other people run these MUNs. I've done something else for MUNs. It's like, or finance OC, like what all were you managing? What else skills did you use there? So I was like cost benefit analysis, just being really good at like Excel, like a lot of functions, formulas, code so that stuff works.
Finance person.
I don't know about that one.
Bro, I think that essay masterclass is crazy.
Sounds
I
good
don't
enough.
know. I don't know what else we're gonna get from you. I feel bad now. I feel like
What?
we're taking too much.
No,
Like a trove of information. But let's be a little reflective, right?
Yeah.
It's a line I've used like 5 times today. But looking back at the entire application process, right? Whether it's Mukul at 9 or 11 or 12 or whatever it is, what are 2 or 3 pieces of advice that you would give yourself or somebody applying now that you didn't know at the time? And why do you think it would be kind of helpful?
I don't really know what I'd do different because like I'm not even sure like what really got me into U Chicago. Like it could have been many things, something. I'd say one thing that I would say is just maybe I'd like push myself a little bit harder. Maybe try to go a bit further. Just get as far down the line. Like try to innovate more in what you already have. Like you've done this, you've managed the library. Maybe change the library's sorting system. Come up with something new, innovative. Just push whatever boundary you can just a bit further. Because I still think I was like, nothing I did felt like it was really like so much like a hassle. Like I was like dragging myself to do something.
Pretty happy doing whatever you do.
Yeah, so I think maybe I just like push myself to just try a bit harder, go a bit further.
What do you think about work-life balance? Do you think you had it, and also what do you just generally think about it? Because I know if you're saying that you're super motivated, then I want to get your take.
Work-life balance, I mean, I think it'll be worse in the future. I don't think it was like, I mean, I can't really remember like how I really felt, but I don't think I ever felt like, oh, I'm gonna like die, I'm so overwhelmed. I always just felt like I have all this to do, it'll get done, I'm not worried.
So I mean, moving forward, you did give us a pretty good description of what you're looking forward to at U Chicago, but
Not really. See, the thing is, one thing that I think is the most fundamental principle that I've had is the ability to change. That's also what I've talked about in personal statement. I'm always going to reflect and change. Like, I'll have an idea today and then maybe tomorrow it's gone. As long as, like, I'm always trying to consume new information, new ideas, And like, if I see something interesting, I'm always willing to switch. Like maybe I'm going in with economics, maybe I'll come out and like I don't know, I'll have like a data science major or something, or like biology or something. Who knows? It's for me the core idea is like the world is constantly changing. If something changes like tomorrow, that I need to know what do I change, what do I do, what is the new step. Like maybe I'm considering like study abroad to China, but like currently the requirement is HSK 6, which is a really high Mandarin requirement. If I can't beat that, where do I go next? Maybe Korea, maybe I'll do Australia, Netherlands. Maybe I'll learn something there. What do I learn there? My fundamental idea is like if something isn't working, what do I change? What do I improve? What do I adapt? I will never stay fixed on something. Like you can hear this interview now. Like that's why I kept saying also like these ideas about like starting a business came out after like I finished my UCL application. Taught me in like 3 months. Who knows? Maybe I'll be like I'm settling down with a family at like 25, bro. I think that flexibility is also really necessary and useful in life. Like the world, it's a changing atmosphere. Like I was like, one thing that I've followed consistently is just like tech, like the newest iPhones, the newest things, and the shift to AI features was like out of nowhere. Like someday, and now every phone has like a ton of AI features. There's like circle to search. There's magic.
Do you believe in the general singularity?
What?
As all compulsion? Like the fact that we've crossed the breaking point. And that it's never going to be the same again.
No, not really. We don't have general super intelligence yet. I don't think we have general super intelligence yet. We're not at AGI yet. We're not there yet, which means like I don't think we're beyond the point of like no return.
But I do think we are getting pretty close.
Yeah, like AI still hasn't started to learn from itself. Like when that happens, we're just gone. Like I'm becoming an artist. I might be bad, but like I think that's like my signature quality. I'll go into abstract art.
Okay, well, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this, bro.